The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, this is Toby Manhire, here to urge you to tune in to Gone by Lunchtime, a podcast with me, Annabelle Lee Mather and Ben Thomas, tackling the world of New Zealand politics, from policy to polling, from scandal to psychodrama. Listen to Gone by Lunchtime, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network, wherever good pods are sold.
For me, like when I hear my partner say that I look good and like all the things, it makes me feel really wanted and like desired.
Anyone on the street can tell you that you look good, try and get in your pants.
No.
I've already had sex with you. That's it, done. You're on my board, done.
Kia ora, welcome along to The Real Recap. It's week 3 on Married at First Sight Australia. This podcast is brought to you by the team of The Spin-off, which is me, Jane Yee, also Duncan Grieve, hello.
Kia ora.
And Alex Casey.
Hello.
If we sound like we're doing a landline call overseas to overseas people in 1994, it's because we're in 3 different locations. None of us that we're aware of have Omicron, but we're just being cautious at the moment. Okay, anyway, I would like to invite you to rate and review and share this podcast with literally everyone you know. I'm sure you're not busy. And if you want to join in the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/groups/Real Pod Corner, and we're on Instagram at the Spin-off Podcast Network. Let's get into the meat of it. We're starting to see some real villain behaviour coming out from some of our people that we didn't realise might have been villains to start with. And, of course, the villains that we knew all along were villains are still being villainy. But we'll go with the commitment ceremony first. Selena and Cody, I think that the thing that bugged me about these two, well, not so much them, but the experts just did not take him to task on what he said at all.
Do you mean in the commitment ceremony or
in the
prior
commitment
to?
in the commitment ceremony, when he says, you know, he basically was like, oh, it's just a communication error, I'm not very good at comms. And I just want to say, while he was delivering his I'm not very good at comms speech, did a wonderful job of communicating it.
Did he?
So I don't buy that. Yeah, I think he's good at comms. I think it's fine. I think it's just a handy little excuse for being racist.
I mean, I think he has really bad comms when he was sitting next to her going, it's killing me that I can't hold her hand. It's like, she's right there, you know? You can do whatever you want.
They are, of course, referring to the fact that he said at the end of last week's run that part of the reason he didn't find her attractive was because she's Asian. He did quite a decent backpedal on it all. He felt under pressure at the time. He didn't mean, like, it just came out wrong, what have you. He's, I think, better at comms than I am at this point. But anyway, they both said stay. Tamara and Brent, this was an interesting one because they had been getting on quite well, but then at the commitment ceremony, John asked Tamara straight, is he enough for you? And she's like, I don't know yet. And they both said stay, but the damage was done.
Brent said he needed a shot of whiskey afterwards and he looked real pissed off.
Yeah. Olivia and Jackson are perfect. Stay. Mitch and Ella, everything's fine. Mitch just needs to get a bit deeper. Stay. Jack and Domenica, well, we all know they all stay. No one goes home. Jack and Domenica starting to see some cracks showing. Anthony and Celine are an absolute train wreck at the commitment ceremony. And
hold on. We need to talk about Celine's tiny stay. The tiniest stay for ants ever committed to a piece of papyrus I have ever seen.
Why do people do this? Like, why do they try to make writing leave or stay some sort of thing more than it is? It's just like adds an unnecessary tension to things.
It's hilarious.
I know I'm talking about a show that's like packed with tension, but it is very funny that they kind of like just try and get the boot. Like, I'm staying, but not very much.
Yeah, like Andrew's 1% stay. But the thing is, it's similar to like the ranking how hot the other ones are task, which is like the most transparently like pure evil, no justification for it task that the experts set, where like if you're going to do either of those things, you just do that thing. Any attempt to sort of take the edge off it only makes the fact of staying like just terrible for you and for your partner for the whole week. And yet they still persist.
They still stay.
In teeny tiny littering.
Hey, Holly and Andrew, I have a question for you guys. If you kiss during sex, does that count as kissing?
Fuck me.
Well, he said there was no tongue involved, which raises a whole lot of questions. Little pecks, he said.
Little pecks during sex.
Little pecks.
Is that like... So could you theoretically kiss someone outside the bounds of your relationship with little pecks and it doesn't count? Like, that doesn't count according to Andrew.
Like you kiss a grandma type thing.
Oh, my God. Okay, this is a whole new realm.
A little peck.
A little peck. They're obviously just such a hot mess, but I did love him writing leave, crossing it out, putting stay in tribute to our dear friend Gonzo from last season, who did the same thing with Melissa. Did the leave stay, and you know that created drama then, and let's see if this creates drama this week. Okay, into the week.
Shout out to Al for doing the Superman S. Another important stay from Al. He did the Superman S on his card.
He did the Superman S, yes, which I think I do believe we've seen that before, but everything is new to Al. Literally,
everything is new.
Literally everything.
I just quickly on Holly and Andrew. I did enjoy Alessandra, the sexologist, what's in a clinical sexologist, ripping into him. Like her first season, I thought she was a bit sort of inconsequential, but she's sort of stepping up to the streets in this year and is sort of owning people. And like I thought, you know, she's actually having quite a profound impact on some of these relationships. It's quite good. Like she's also Holly did an amazing impression of her, which was quite uncanny.
She did the most amazing impression of her. We'll get to that
because she's an actress.
I know. So much to say about Holly and Andrew, but we'll start with Selena and Cody.
Yeah.
Really, the only things of note for me with these guys is that they had 2 vacuums in their suite. That seems...
like the right number of vacuums, I reckon.
In the little hotel room, though. One apiece.
Were they the same vacuum?
Exactly the same. They were smallish.
Is there a chance they borrowed one because they had to vacuum up all his horrible hair?
Absolutely, there's a chance. It just seems unnecessary. Why were they not filming on her birthday? All the coverage of her birthday stuff was just stuff that they'd shot on their cell phones, which, you know, leads me to believe, like, there are shoot days and there are non-shoot days. There must be so much that happens in those days that we don't see. Like, for example, Selena having a lovely birthday and Cody just showering her with, like, flowers and cakes and lovely things.
I don't know. I think that they missed something here because they used... Because he got that haircut, there's like massive continuity errors. I don't know if you noticed. He had like his bad hair when he was writing the letter to her, which makes me think the letter was from Confessions Week last week, where he wrote all about his trauma and his horrible, you know, like he lost a lot of people in his teens. But he had long hair when he was writing that letter, and it came after he'd had a haircut.
Whoa.
That makes so much sense. Why else would he be writing her a letter in Intimacy Week?
It makes no sense.
Letters aren't sexy.
They're not sexy at all.
I wonder if that actually totally scans, right? Because if the racism thing happened and then they made up through him writing this letter that kind of healed their relationship, that doesn't give them the big cliffhanger. So they sort of broke it in two and put the letter in the subsequent week. And man, that's interesting. Because I thought this week, as much as obviously like no excuse, and it was a really unpleasant thing, that watching them and Selena and Anthony kind of come out of what seemed like a totally irrecoverable tailspin has been quite, you know, it's normally about this time it starts to really curdle and turn for the toxic relationships, and to have 2 of them sort of heal is quite sweet.
Yeah, it has been pleasant, and I'm just baffled that we have been doing this for however many years, and yet we're still surprised that things are edited in a way that's different than perhaps it played out in real life.
It's just the brazenness, I guess, of it, that they were like, we just have to do it. It doesn't even matter, like, that his hair's different.
Yeah. What matters is good TV show.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if you've noticed the audio, like, voiceover cuts. There's, like, a lot of frankenbiting going on. Like, there's a lot of dirty edits, and they're just not even trying anymore to make it look like it's seamless. But that's fine. We'll still watch it.
Can we talk about the Nair cream on the bum crack?
Yes.
Because that is intimacy on a level
that is really intimate.
Unknown to a brand new couple.
But I couldn't be that intimate. I couldn't allow anyone to be that. Like, I don't understand how that's happening. Like, that is a crazy thing to do as a couple at any stage, let alone when you've been together for about 10 days.
Surely it was just the top kind of a little tufty tuft. She wasn't getting right down in
he
there.
was like,
I know it seemed like it, but I don't know.
Seemed very back sack and crack, you know?
Maybe it's easier to do it on someone who you barely know than it is to do it with someone who you've lived with for years and years and you know all their toilet habits, you know? Maybe what you don't know is an advantage in this situation.
I think you just have to guess that they're going to have toilet habits. It's an inevitability at this point.
Maybe she just is like, she's so comfortable with hair, it doesn't really matter to her where it is.
Yeah, it's a natural progression, right?
True.
Do the hair on the head, do the hair on the bum.
The bum hair.
Okay, Tamara and Brent have fallen apart at the seams in such a huge way. They had a massive argument about the commitment ceremony and her saying that he might not be good enough. The jury's out on that. He is proper upset, rips off his mic, walks out. They don't speak. Next morning, Tamara wakes up with perfectly curled hair in a beautiful little minty green outfit. And no one looks like that in the morning. Literally, no one looks like that in the morning. So I would like to posit they film the wake-ups whenever the shooting, they might come in at 2 PM, but we have to film your wake-up now. And they go back to bed and they close the curtains.
We know this because that's why when I did some investigative journalism a year or two ago on why all the men wear board shorts, that's why. Because they just pick them up in the middle of the day and they're like, all right, pop back to bed.
Yeah. I forgot about that because, again, my brain is sieve. But there you go. There was more evidence. But they also did a lot of talking head stuff. We're cutting back and forth with her wearing the minty green outfit and then another outfit entirely, making it sound like it was all one conversation, and it really, really wasn't. They make up for a moment. They make up. Then they have a intimacy hug, and she hates it. She literally pushes him away at the end of it. And it's just sad. These guys had looked like they were going to get there, and now, I don't know, it's just going to uphill and down dale.
I'd love a melty hug. Melty hug with Brent seems like a lovely time.
It's really interesting the extent to which kissing and hugging are major problems for some couple halves in this thing, to a quite surprising extent.
I think kissing for 5 minutes is a long time.
Is it?
With a camera crew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
With your Mitch. With them here. I quite like Mitch, the way that he's becoming quite hostile to the whole thing. I didn't realise there were going to be people around all the time. I didn't realise this was on TV.
Suddenly mega prude.
If you call back to how he was set up at the beginning, he was set up as the cynic, but there wasn't that much that was cynical about him, in the early episodes. And now, obviously, we're seeing it start to play out. So I can only assume that that's going to be his narrative for the rest of the season, is kind of getting impatient with the fact that he's on the telly and agreed to do this telly show and hating everything about it. Can't wait.
I wonder, are we talking about them yet? I wondered if it was because, I don't know if you noticed that he had sort of had a mega TV breakout across his jaw, and I wondered if that played into his anxiety, because I wouldn't want to do a 5-minute make out if I was dealing with, an eruption of that sort.
And also, he knows that when someone's shooting an eruption, a kiss, they're going to capture the eruption. There's going to be close-ups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point, Alex.
Thank you.
God, you're so good at this.
Thank you.
But counterpoint, he was wearing a lovely turtleneck, which would also have inevitably been captured.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that.
God, he looked good in it.
But I wonder if that's because he had boils on his neck.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll cover the dinner party stuff at the end, all in one whack. Should we do that?
Just last thing on Brent is that he's starting to, he seemed to be the calm one, and Tamara the sort of highly strung, sort of one who needed civilizing kind of thing, and now he's starting to seem completely crazy. Like it does seem that he does not seem to dispute the fact that he was asked to turn the TV down, and reacted the way he did. And I think maybe he said something about having to change the time he went to the gym. Some real like that seems fine type stuff, and he's absolutely popping off.
I think I think that's the deep psychology on that would be that. This underlying theme that he's not good enough is that all of those things probably bite a little bit more than they would regularly when you're loved and appreciated, If you know that someone thinks you're maybe not good enough, then every little criticism suddenly becomes a very big criticism, and then it builds up and you explode, as we saw at the dinner party. But anyway, Olivia and Jackson, I mean, what's to say here? Nothing much, except for that he's got Cocoa Pops undies.
Does he?
Yeah. When they started getting frisky in bed, he threw off his undies and they were Cocoa Pops undies.
So I've got this much notes, a whole screen's worth of notes for Holly and Andrew. For Liv and Jackson, I've got one quote, and it's, "We're having a lot of sex. It's not a competition, but if it was, we're winning." Which was actually from the dinner party. But, I mean, there's nothing to say about them. They're just crushing it, and everyone else has a couple of goals about them, and it's obviously true. And it's the only thing I feel is am worried about what might happen to me emotionally if something were to happen to them emotionally.
Yeah.
That's the only thing to say about them.
That is nerve-wracking. I think that what's interesting and kind of unicorny about them is whilst they are a very happy, loving couple, like there's nothing going wrong, they're also like super sexed up. And that's something that when you look at like Jules and Cam, who were similar but not sexed up openly on camera, same with like Angel and Brett from the New Zealand version of the show, these nice lovely couples are often, I'm not saying they don't get frisky, but they don't necessarily like talk about it a lot, whereas these two are just horn dogs and also lovely at the same time. What a treat.
There's a fatal flaw coming. I can feel it. I think the days are numbered.
Oh, please don't say it. Please don't say it.
I think you're right.
So Mitch and Ella, we kind of already went there with them. She wants kissing, by the way, in the bedroom. She wants that kind of intimacy, and he wants noise, confidence, and foreplay. Top 3.
The noise was just so brutal. And he's just he can be quite cruel to her in a way that makes him marginally less attractive, which is,
it makes him quite a lot less attractive, and I'm really nervous because the way that she has responded so far has been she's kind of just backed down, which is really, it frightens me for what's to come because I feel like he'll just keep going and going, Because
he did do almost like a mini Andrew where he was like, I'm used to other women who are way more confident in the bedroom. It's just like very hard to come back from that because then you're sort of scrutinising all of your performance and no good.
Jack and Domenica. So while Jackson has Cocoa Pops undies, Domenica has Vegemite pajamas and a Vegemite tattoo on her arm.
And Vegemite slippers. She loves the yeast. It's crazy.
They're just mad for a brekkie. They're mad for a brekkie.
You know what? Speaking of brekkie, it sounds like some sort of breakfast radio stunt where they're like, our sponsors, Vegemite, come aboard. They're going to give you $10,000 if you wear their pajamas, slippers, and get the tattoo and wear it on MAFS. So that's my theory. These two are starting to wobble. He's not jumping her bones the way that she'd like him to. Some weeks he's happy to have sex 10 times, some weeks none.
She wants to have sex every moment, by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
Apart from when she's having her Vegemite in the morning.
I think she would say, sometimes I'm having Vegemite and I'm horny.
Yeah. Nothing's off the table. She really was amazing at pole dancing. Got to have done that before, right?
I think so.
And he loved it. If I did pole dancing, that would make someone never want to touch me ever again.
I can't imagine that's true, Jane.
die if I was given that as an intimacy week task. Probably would actually die. Like, probably would land on my head, split open.
I think we should try it, Jane.
Yeah, that does feel like a real plot activity waiting to happen. I love Dom as a character so much. She's so quotable. Her "I am a woman who bleeds monthly" was iconic phrase, and "I was menstruating and I was horny," and when she was interrogating him about his sleeping with his ex, and they're like, she's got sort of all of the normal kind of like ways that people skirt around these things, like to try and find a different way of sort of explaining why they're id. And she's just like, why does she need to be your friend? Like the whole that whole conversation was just so amazing. It's not good relationship stuff, but it's amazing.
He was like, oh, we just didn't have the romance between us. We didn't have that intimacy. That's why we broke up. And then she's like, so you slept with her afterwards? Like, what the fuck? Like, that makes no sense. She should be a lawyer. She's not letting anything slide, you know?
I get it. I would flip out if I found that out, I think.
They're these Italian women.
It's Italian. You know?
Would you really?
I would. I'm a psycho.
I just feel like if it's happened like well before your time, before you knew anyone, you know, breakups can be complicated.
No,
sometimes they can.
I'm angry at Joe always for doing things with anyone before he met me. And if I die, he has to stare at a photo of me until he dies.
This is not the first time we've heard you say this.
Them's the rules.
And before it seemed like a joke. And now it seems like the rules.
No.
Oh, I love this.
I think you guys need to get in front of the experts.
When they talked about dry sex in the Kia Cerato.
Oh, and she got sore knees.
She got
heartburn on her knees. Tell me how that happens.
It's just
I need to know.
Specific.
Is a Kia Cerato, what kind of vehicle is that?
That's like a sedan, I think.
Okay, so it's not like a people mover or a...
No.
Okay, yeah, so tell me this. Where is the footwell room to get down on your knees onto the carpet?
I think if you racked back the front side passenger, especially she's a wee thing, she's probably 5 foot nothing, you know? It's just a guess.
Okay, well... Okay, case closed. Anthony and Celine, unbelievable recovery this week. How did this happen? I thought they were packing up and going home. She said she regretted saying stay after the commitment ceremony. And I thought that at that moment that was going to be the end of them. But then she messages him. No, hang on. First of all, they do the looking into each other's eyes.
Which was so funny. I loved how he channeled the Rusty vibes, thinking that it was a staring contest, and said,
totally.
Celine was actually blinking a lot, much more than me.
No.
She was blinking so much that I think for the 3 minutes or whatever, however long they have to look into each other's eyes, I think she was only looking for half of it. Like her eyes were pretty much closed for the other half for all the blinking.
But it was very funny the way, it was super Celine, the fact that her commentary on this intimate exercise was, he has brown eyes, but then they're not as brown in the middle, and they were watering a lot. You know, it's just like, they're so intimate. You know, she's so in the moment.
It's a bit like when she did her confession letter last week, and she talked about having her child, and it was like a big traumatic moment, and I'm sure that it kind of, that it was, but the way that she retold it was extremely clinical. And then they took him, and then I didn't get to see him till the next day, and that is why I am the way I am. It was weird. Anyway, they had a 3-minute cuddle. Lovely. Her hair smelled nice, which I imagined it would. I did think she has got the kind of hair that looks like it smells delicious, timotei or such. And then there was the message exchanged. I don't know if you guys paused on his message inbox.
Oh, yeah.
We can steal this man's identity from what was shown in the previews of the preview messages in his inbox. What do you got, Alex?
Well, the first thing is the text from someone called Dane MAFS saying, let me know when you're ready for gym sesh.
Yes, he's getting friendly with the crew.
He's getting friendly with the crew. And we had a COVID test result from that morning. And there was like a package, your delivery has arrived.
There was a package, yeah. There was Coles. It was Coles online, and then it gives a PIN number to log in.
Really?
And also the
we've got to log in and order him some stuff.
the COVID test has his full name and his birth date on it as well.
It's amazing.
So I feel like there's enough there to become Anthony.
Tinder swindler.
Becoming Anthony. It's a new podcast coming to Spin-off Podcast Network. Okay. She invites him over. No, she invites him back to move in, which is amazing.
Well, yeah,
and then gives him
a spray tan and a spray tan tent thing.
Is that what she does for a crust?
I can't remember what her crust is. But now I'm thinking that she's a beautician of some sort.
You've got all that paraphernalia with you. I'd love that.
Yeah, I mean, who was she bringing that for? Herself? Because you don't...
Isn't it?
Can you self-tan in a tent with a sprayer? It feels like you'd get very uneven coverage. Was she hoping one of the other ladies would tan her or men? Her husband, perhaps?
I imagine probably Dominica is a makeup artist, Selena hairdresser. They can probably work on it together.
Also, Selena can wax your bum crack for you.
Well, exactly.
So many options. They should start up a little side hustle.
No, it wasn't wax.
Which?
It wasn't wax. I would just like to point out.
No, it was Nair.
It was the disgusting smelling Nair hair removal cream, which I know nothing about.
Smells like something you shouldn't be putting on your skin. Smells like it's going to burn you to a crisp.
Smells like it shouldn't be on your bum.
Sounds like baby foot for your butt, buddy foot. Baby butt.
The thing with Nair is it's akin, ultimately, as the effect of it is akin to shaving, right? So you're getting all those blunt little hairs growing back at the same rate that will all be spiking your bum cheeks. Like waxing would be a preferred option because they come through when they're ready and they come out tapered. So it's,
tapered.
It's just what I would assume. That's my take. Why was she wearing white? That is mental. I am more upset about this than I should be, given I don't wash her clothes. Who does a spray tan wearing white?
A professional.
Probably third Stu is cursing her out. Anthony, I love Anthony.
I love Anthony too.
He's a really good dude, isn't he? Okay, Samantha and Al drinks off milk. 4 days off, which by my standard is too far off. And he says it's fine till it's curdled. Sounds like something my mum would say.
Al is so cute.
I fucking love him. I thought he was going to be the guy that we're laughing at the whole way through, and I just adore him.
He's so clueless. It's very hard to hate him.
Yeah, and you can feel like Sam likes him for the exact same reasons. Like there's just this pure sort of 14-year-old boy puppy dog kind of energy about him. He's keen to learn. He just knows nothing of being an adult.
Nothing at all.
When she got annoyed at him because it seemed like she maybe kissed him and was sort of suggestive and went to bed thinking he would follow, and he was like, he didn't pick up the hint because he was quote unquote watching a movie.
Yeah, he's busy.
And it made me think, what movie would have been captivating Al so much that he would have not picked up on those clues? Like
Transformers: Age of Extinction.
He's scared to take the lead because of, there were some awkward moments where he tried to kiss on the honeymoon and so on, and it was flat out rejected.
Rejected at the room a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But now she's kind of saying, I want you to touch me, and here's how, and here is where, and here is for how long. Just do it whenever you can.
He got a great lesson from Holly, so...
He did. So
he's all sorted.
Whoopsie.
Her cowboy boots I can't get on board with. Those white cowboy boots.
Yeah, they're
Can't do it. And they're not the first cowboy boots we've seen her in. She had those red ones as well. She's packed all the cowboy boots.
You can fit a lot of beer in those, though.
They're my favourite couple, though, I think.
Okay. Holly and Andrew. The Holly and Andrew. Before we get to the dinner party, we've got Holly and Andrew to get through. For Intimacy Week, it was just a train wreck. She did the cupcakes at the end of last week, and he said it was a nice gesture, but he expects an apology. And,
for what? Again, what's she done? Oh, she yelled at him that one time.
She raised her voice.
She yelled at him.
Yeah.
She gets Anthony over for a powwow, which is a great call because he's a great guy. And Anthony does this amazing thing where he calls Andrew out, like in a caring way, but he definitely doesn't let shit slide. Now, remember back to Gonzo, who's the closest thing we have to Andrew, right, from a previous season. And he was mates, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was mates with this dude who just honestly backed him up for all his terrible decisions, never called him out. It became a source of tension in his own relationship because he wasn't calling out Gonzo's bad behaviour. And here we are with Anthony just being like rock solid dude, being a friend, still calling him out though. Just great guy. Great guy.
But also how crazy that like the moral king of the show, all he says is you need to just let her talk. What a concept. Like, it's really crazy.
Andrew then writes this letter and tries to explain away his behaviour by saying he wrote leave, or he wrote leave and crossed it out because he is scared of rejection. Like, that's his big thing, is he's scared of rejection. And he's very good at crying on command.
He's very good at going beet red. He goes beet red at the flick of
very red with the tears. I think forcing tears out at that sort of pace, it's a physical strain.
Yeah.
And so he is going red.
It's a whole of body effort. He is actually a terrifying person.
I call bullshit on this. He rejected her. He has done nothing but reject her this whole time. You can't do that and then go, I'm scared of rejection. Like,
it gets worse at the dinner party, but just
honestly,
still before we even get there.
It's you're going to have another boohoo princess.
Yeah.
Energy from Andrew. No, he's just real. It's just quite like it's obviously MAFS is just this amazing kind of gaslighting factory, but it feels like the way that he will sort of switch from like a really quite well articulated, seemingly whole of body contrition that sort of convinces her to try and let the whole thing go, to just a cold, like almost like quite a frightening level of contempt and dismissal. And you see her sort of escalating and it kind of making her retreat into her most kind of fight or flightish state. And, obviously she does some quite hectic stuff as well by the end. But, when that scene where they're looking into each other's eyes and she feels like chilled by the process, and then they did that amazing edit where they sort of replayed through a filter his kind of historic, some of the stuff he'd said to her. That was just incredibly well-made TV and totally chilling. You're like, because having them all stacked up like that and seeing just this look of this sort of impassive look on his face, I was just like, I don't like the fact that they're in a room together alone. Like, he feels dangerous to me.
I can see how he wins out other people over, though, because, as you say, extremely poised. They are not privy to all the stuff that we're seeing. They're certainly not privy to what she's seeing. And he is the worst kind of gaslighter in the sense that she's come away struggling to put her finger on or struggling to say what it is that he's done that has been so hurtful. When you're watching it, you're like, that's fucked up. But then when she comes to try and explain at the dinner party, all she can say is, he won't let me finish my sentence. Yeah. Like, that's almost all she's got. And everyone's like, well, that doesn't sound like that big of a deal. And it's because he's just like playing such insane mind games with her. And then, saying, as you said, Duncan, like, he'll just turn so quickly if things don't go the way that he wants. Like, he's happy to take accountability. He's happy to apologise. He's happy to take the high road or whatever. But the moment that she doesn't just acquiesce to that, he then instantly spins and it basically undoes all the nice things that he might have said because he just clearly didn't mean them.
He's got this thing where he thinks he can do anything if he caveats it with, and that's what a leader does. Which just like makes no sense. Like, he's just seems to have digested so much self-help fucking motivational speaker bullshit and he's using it, he's like weaponized it in quite an amazing way. And you saw how he won everyone over.
Him saying that leader thing is basically saying, I didn't mean the apology. I did it to kind of set a precedent, to show what should be done. I'm giving you an example of what you should be doing. He's just super, super yuck.
He's amazingly manipulative in that he's like constantly trying to kind of control someone's mood and their emotional response. And you know, like, you know, he that's that incredible performance that he put on when he arrived to sort of set up her as the villain in this at the dinner party. But like, I feel like when you see his real character is when someone doesn't respond the way that he has intended them to via the manipulation, and that's when he flips into like, and that's when you sort of see him drop the act, like, because he's basically just trying to exert a level of control over his surroundings. And you know, I find him like of all of the, like, we've seen a lot of obnoxious people on this show, but there's something about him that is just a different kind of scary.
It's dangerous because he is very, very good at doing what he's doing, you know, like in terms of communicating with other people and getting them on side. He knows exactly what he's doing, you know. And then there's the dinner party. Oh, he called her a narcissist, by the way, which is just not a very nice thing to do. The dinner party. A red mist has descended on the dinner party. Let's have a quick break, actually, and then we'll come back for dinner, shall we?
Love it.
When you choose to invest, your money has power. Avoiding companies that finance weapons production or ignore climate change is important. But impact investing goes beyond just avoiding harmful behaviours. It's an opportunity to invest in companies that are actually improving the world. Invest in a better future with the Harbour Sustainable Impact Fund. Grow your wealth and make a positive impact on the world. This is not personalised advice. A disclaimer and the product disclosure statement for Harbour investment funds issued by Harbour Asset Management is available at harbourasset.co.nz.
Hi, I'm Brian Crump, host of Sci-Fi Sci-Fact, a new RNZ podcast in which we take some of science fiction's strangest ideas and explore if they could really happen. With the help of scientists from New Zealand's McDiarmid Institute, we'll look at all your favourite science fiction characters, from Wolverine to Rumpelstiltskin, Doctor Who to Luke Skywalker. You can find Sci-Fi Sci-Fact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere you get your podcasts from.
Okay, sit down for dinner. Actually, come into a cocktail party first. Brent and Tamara, huge fight before the cocktail party. All shot on the intern's phone, it seems.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone was like the driver or someone was like, come on, I'm taking you to and they're having this big blow up and they just caught it on phones.
And then normally when that would happen, they'd make them arrive like last or something, but they were there first. It was a whole
Yeah,
schmozzle.
it was weird because they did the whole voiceover said, well, everyone's ready and on their way to the dinner party except for one couple who are still in the middle of a fight. And yet they still got there first.
Had the huge fight, and then which Brent was still wearing his boardies, and they raced to beat everyone there. Come on, voiceover.
They had the tally up too loud. He had the tally up too loud was the problem there. And
I actually get in trouble for that at home as well.
So did you feel like you could relate to Brent?
Yeah, I feel me liking to have things one notch louder than is comfortable is an affliction, and I should be allowed to.
But you wouldn't get called the C word for it, would you?
Oh, I might.
Really? But in a more like we've been together for many, many years, affectionate kind of a way, or like not in a Tamara way.
No, but I've got to say, I find Brent, it seems quite agitated. Like, admittedly, obviously he has that big foundational reason, but yeah, it's ugly. These two fighting.
These two together are like they fight in a very toxic way. They don't kind of have a constructive fighting style or something. Therapeutic like that. But anyway, so they get to the party. Then Andrew and Celine arrive at some point, and everyone's thrilled to see them together, which is exciting. And Dom apologises to Andrew. And you know how last week I was out and Dom, I'm back in. I think she's great. I think she did the right thing. She kind of like got the information, realised that she had been too hasty in judging him, and she made the first move to apologise to him for that, which I thought was extremely gracious of her. Gracious? That's not the word, you know what I mean.
I also think Dom has the best fashion on the show. personal opinion. I love her style. I think she has like real cool clothes. I love how she always wears like orange and pink and like very bright colours. Shout out.
Yeah. With the pearl, that sort of pearl thing on her dress is very cool.
And she had a Kappa. She had a Kappa sports bra on the other day, and I was like, I haven't seen Kappa for a while.
Back.
Yeah, she's a cool lady. Also called Andrew a bit of a bush artist. It's not an expression I've heard before, but I fucking loved.
He is a bush artist. Like, I think he would call himself that as well.
That is true. 24/7, 365. Oh my God.
He really turned it on for everyone. He put on his best Andrew show, took full accountability for everything, but, you know, Holly's just being unreasonable and...
Cuddle pylon. He was
That was too much. I felt really angry, particularly at... Liv. You know how Liv
why is it? Like, come on, Liv.
I didn't understand it.
And the experts were just like, they were shocked. They couldn't believe that it was happening. They were like, were you not all in the same room that we were in? Did you not see what was happening? That is how skilled this man is. Dom was the only one who was kind of rolling her eyes at it all.
Yeah. I think it'd be good when to see how that gets treated on the couch. The problem is, and this is the sort of the tragedy of it, right, is that like Holly's reaction to that sort of situation that he engineered was so OTT that it ends up that they're kind of both as bad as each other, is the sort of the way that it's received by the group. And even the experts will have to spend some time on the other handing with her.
Yeah, I mean, she is annoying, I got to say. Like, you know, I mean, he's dangerous. She's like a school teacher, the way that she talks, and not a nice one, not a Miss Honey. She also did that weird grand entrance, which I don't think helped her case at all, because it made her look like, you know, he's just been in there weeping with everyone all on top of him. And then she comes in and she's like, here I am, single and ready to mingle, you know, and it just kind of like, it brought into his story rather than presenting her own. But I mean, she can do what she likes, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but her whole performance there, even, you know, obviously, like, I don't want to harp on it, but the sort of intimacy instructional for Al, like, there was just a whole lot of Holly in a way that it just was, she couldn't have performed up to Andrew's assigned narrative for her better, which is just a bummer.
Yeah. She's really dominated the whole week, I feel.
It was unfortunate as well that we got the edit. Well, they included on camera her saying the line, he made me feel less than dirt, which is, you know, a great line. But she said it 3 times. You know, like it starts to kind of show the performance a little bit.
And we know she did that amazing impression of Alessandra, which is like legitimately amazing.
It was uncanny.
She does impressions of Andrew, which are quite good. She puts on the American accent. She did the showgirl. Like, she's an actress through and through.
So, Alex,
she is always on.
Do you truly think that she is an actress placed on the show?
I don't think that anymore.
An actress who happens to be on the show.
I thought that maybe at the start that they were both there to teach us all a lesson somehow, but I don't think the lesson is clear enough after what happened at the dinner party. I did think maybe it was going to be like, and this is gaslighting, in the show trying to like make up for allowing a lot of that historically in the past without calling it out, but the narrative was not clear enough for it to be fake. Like, I just think they're just two very outlandish characters, but she did have the actor energy from the very start.
She does, and I'm not sure that she's there for love. I certainly think that there might be a little bit of, she might be there for love, might be there for a baby, might be there for exposure, but no one talks like, I shan't put up with this anymore.
I know, her funny
and
old-fashioned...
I needn't have bothered. Like, that's elocution stuff, right?
I know. The shan't and the needn't was really amazing. That's a great pickup, Jane.
Our other big news at the dinner party was Mitch and Ella. It's just weird how quickly this has become, like, he's become a dick, like a proper grade A dick. And I retract everything I said about wanting to, like, get cozy with him. I don't anymore. Thank you very much. Okay? Probably not noisy enough anyway, you know?
Just quickly, like, when you're watching that with the experts, I'm so curious about this, like, because there was a lot going on during that period. Like, do they produce this like a live sporting event where they've got like, like where they've got like an OBC with, all of the different feeds and a director kind of jumping between cameras according to what's, for the experts so that they can commentate live? Or is this not as live? Do they get like a rough cut of the thing? I'm real curious about the manufacturing.
They get a rough cut. Yeah. And like a
they are not on the other they're not on the other side of the wall at the time the dinner party's happening watching it. They've deliberately made it feel like that, and they do it well enough that I buy into it. Do you know what I mean? Like I suspend disbelief and I watch that and go, the experts are watching from the other room. But they're definitely not when you think, like when you just think about the logistics. There's no way. The crew, they've edited it and they've given them an edited version and then they pop them down in front of it and it's a lovely thing.
They do sell it very well. I also like when they have the really big reactions, like when they go, whoa, like when Holly walks in and stuff.
I also like that in the preview for this week when they talked about, for the whole entire season, they showed John saying, that is not something we've ever had on the show before. And I was like, what could it possibly be? Because we have had so many crazy dramatic things. And that something turned out to be Holly dragging her chair like a child down to the other end of the table. With extra, I'm certain they put an extra noise, like sound effects over there. It was so good.
Yeah, there was super Foley energy, yeah. I actually love the experts this year. Like historically, there's always been that thing of like, they're not sort of necessarily calling certain things out, or I just feel like they're all performing really well. John's got this, like, there's a new sheriff in town kind of energy. Yeah. Alessandra is, like, legitimately breaking walls. Like, it's just quite fun,
I love it when John does this face, the full lean back, like he's practically, that one where he's just sort of like, while someone's talking, you wouldn't have seen that face, but you know the face that I'm talking about, which is just really like, are you fucking serious? Like that's kind of what his face is saying.
Oh, it's also like, that's very strange, it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a multi-use face. It's great. Anyway, I mean, we kind of brushed over Mitch and Ella, but, you heard the clip at the beginning of the show. He was a dick, and I just think that there's going to be bad things ahead for these two, which is really sad because they start out so well.
Well, she's just very emotionally intelligent and sort of understands what's going on with her whole thing, and Mitch is like, if you try and get him to penetrate anything like remotely deep, he reacts really negatively to it, and it doesn't feel good. You're absolutely right.
He seemed, not that this is an excuse, but I thought he was quite drunk at that dinner party.
Right.
The level of aggression, the swearing, the looseness, I don't know. I obviously hate him now, but I wrote Mitch is a tool in a turtleneck. The end.
But it was like a different turtleneck, right? Like, 'cause the previous one was like a mock turtle, and this was like a full skivvy. And I was like, I mean, he just looks really good.
Next week he'll be in like a full balaclava.
I apologise for not being on Turtle Watch. I obviously haven't been paying as much attention. Can we just leave that with you, Duncan? Can that be your thing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is absolutely my only assigned role in this production is looking out for skivvies.
Okay. Well, that's it. Old mate Andrew walked off. I feel like he'll be back. I feel like it's the last we've seen of him. So it's going to be another rollicking week from the Sky Suites, which I was going to say before and I didn't get to because you cut me off and you never let me finish a sentence. The Sky Suites, 1 minute walk from Nando's.
Wow.
1 minute.
Yum.
If you've never listened to this podcast before, then that will make no sense. But for those of you who've been around a while, 1 minute walk from Nando's. So great selling point for the Sky Suites.
I'm going to Sydney.
Okay, that's our podcast for this week. We'll be back for week 4 of Married at First Sight AU next week. Please do join us and please do share this podcast with everyone you know. Rate and review. Give us a like and subscribe. Tag your flatmates. Tag your mum. We are out. Thank you very much, T.I. here. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, Alex. See you next week.
Just quickly, if you're enjoying this podcast and value what we do at The Spinoff, please consider joining the Spinoff members. All our mahi is made possible by our members, and we wouldn't be here today without their support. Tautoko mai and head to thespinoff.co.nz/members to sign up.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, Senior Writer at The Spinoff. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Talofa lava. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spinoff. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spinoff member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spinoff Podcast Network.